He had a deal and he didn't put out an album in 4 years. And with his deal, he literally figured out how to get 20 million from Lucian Grange, drop his deal, figure out how to make the funds apply to a whole nother album, give him a bullshit album, get out his deal all in one round. Do you know how embarrassed the record industry was? Do you know how hard they've been whipping fucking artists since then? Like, this shit is some real slave shit. Like, you feel me? Like, that man figured out how to finesse the record industry, and people don't talk about that. That it took that man 2 years to do that shit. And then Blonde, he already got a $20 million check from Apple from that shit, and he didn't have to give any of that shit back to the label because he was already out his deal once he gave them Endless. You get what I'm saying? Look this.
He did that visual project.
Yeah, exactly. Now, am I lying? Anybody check out if I'm lying. This man, so now since 2016, already up 20 M's. I bet you ain't know that he had a BMW. That's how he inspired me.
Number one, shit. Okay, that's the beginning of the video. Fuck. My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond. My name is Dwayne from Group82Music.com, and you just saw a clip of A$AP Rocky talking about how Frank Ocean finessed the music industry. Now, this happened back in 2016, so it's been a minute since this stuff has happened, but I don't feel like people really truly understand how monumental this is. So we're gonna do a recap combined with all the stuff we know about the music industry now to show you exactly what Frank Ocean did and how monumental it was, regardless of how you feel about him or the music business. Number one, Frank Ocean signed with Def Jam back in 2012. I'm not gonna take you through his whole independent artist journey. That don't matter at this point. He signed with Def Jam back in 2012. When he signed with them, he signed a 2-album deal, which is really short, but that worked out in his favor. First album he released was called Channel Orange. This was the album everybody talked about. It was getting a lot of radio promo. At the time, streaming services were out, but people weren't really on them like that. I mean, I had a Spotify account because I love Spotify, but Apple Music wasn't even around. It was Beats Music at that time, and RDO was one that was out, and Songza, which based it off your mood, that was out. So people were still trying to figure out how streaming services worked. So getting radio promo and pushing huge album sales was a big deal. Frank Ocean released Channel Orange. It came out to critical acclaim. It did really, really well. Got nominated at the Grammys. He won it, all that shit, wooty, wooty, woo. And then people are waiting for music. And they're waiting for music. And they're waiting for music. And he kept saying, I got an album coming, album coming, album coming. And there was this rumbling that we kept hearing that Frank Ocean ain't really happy with the music industry. Def Jam is a subsidiary under Universal. Remember, we've talked about the big 3 record labels before, the people that run the music industry, okay? Warner, Universal, Sony. Def Jam is a subsidiary under Universal. So this is who Frank Ocean was signed to. They're waiting for an album. He's not happy. This is his last album on his deal. What does he need to do to get himself out of the deal, where he can get his worth, his money, and he can express himself creatively the way that he wanted to? This is what he did. He released an album called Endless. Now, it really wasn't an album. It was basically a 45-minute long music video, had some new music in there, and it was available for people to view through the Apple Music Def Jam Universal package that they had set up, right? So you could go watch that, and that technically qualified as his second album. 24 hours later, a day later, he released Blonde. This is the real album that he wanted to put out. He released it under his imprint, and he made it an Apple Music exclusive. What does this mean? It was only available on Apple Music. Apple had to pay him for that. How much they paid him for that? They paid him $20 million. So he fulfilled his contractual obligations with Universal, with Def Jam, got the advance for that, took the $20 million he got from Apple, bought himself out of his own contract, where he got his masters back and fulfilled the contractual obligations, released the music he wanted out to the world, and still had $18 million left over because of the $2 million buy. This shit's legendary. This shit fucked up the music industry. This shit fucked up streaming. After that, Universal was pissed. They were trying to sue Frank Ocean. He didn't violate any laws. He didn't violate the contract. He fulfilled the contractual obligations, and he was able to buy himself out of it. But to Universal, they got shitted on because their marketing and everything that they did for Endless is now going to go to Blonde, which is going to Frank Ocean's company, not Universal. And Apple Music, they don't give a fuck either way because they got Endless and Blonde and Frank Ocean, and they sell phones and computers. Who gives a shit what's happening in the music industry? This is legendary shit. It's the shit you really need to pay attention to. And he ain't signed with a label since then. He's been doing everything on his own. This is why you need to remain independent for as long as you can. And I know some of y'all watch this video, you're like, well, I do want to remain independent and independent for life. You're fucking lying. You don't want to remain independent. A lot of y'all don't want to put in the work because being independent is fucking hard. Frank Ocean had to sign to a label in order to get the notoriety, to get the fan base, to get the branding, to get the radio promo, to get nominated for the Grammys, to perform at the Grammys, to win Grammys, to be on Watch the Throne with Jay-Z and Kanye before he could have the brand he has independently where he can get $20 million from Apple. What are you doing to build your brand right now? What are you doing to build yourself up where people are going to come and gravitate towards your content, towards your music? Because if you go to a label, they're going to pimp you like they did with him. He got out of it and he flipped it on him. You got to think about how you building your brand. And that's what we do here at Group 82 Music. We help you build brands. You need a website, you need a logo, you need Spotify placement. We even help you with running your ads now. Click the link in the bio, go to group82music.com. So like Frank Ocean, you can be in complete control of your career and get paid what you're worth, what your value is, and can express yourself creatively while providing for your family. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay tuned.
Always betting on myself cause I'm the one that understands that. Scared money don't make no money. Y'all don't hear that. I don't know. Group82music.com.